It's Sunday, March 21st, and this is For Good Reason.
Welcome to For Good Reason. I'm DJ Grothe. For Good Reason is the radio show and the podcast produced in association with the James Randi Educational Foundation, an international nonprofit whose mission is to advance critical thinking about the paranormal, pseudoscience, and the supernatural. My guest this week is James Randi, James the Amazing Randi, a world-renowned magician, skeptic, and investigator of paranormal claims. He's really the central figure in the founding of the worldwide skeptical movement. Perhaps he's best known for the $1 million challenge, in which the James Randi Educational Foundation will award $1 million to anyone who's able to show evidence of any paranormal, supernatural, or occult power or event under test conditions agreed to by both parties. James Randi has appeared widely in the media, including on Johnny Carson's Tonight Show dozens of times. He's also a regular on Penn and Teller's Showtime series Bullshit. He's received numerous awards and recognitions, including the MacArthur Genius Grant, the American Physical Society's Forum Award for promoting public understanding of the relation of physics to society. He's the author of many books, including The Truth About Uri Geller and Flim Flam. Welcome back to For Good Reason, James Randi.
Hey, it's good to be here again.
Randy, we're having you on the show to talk about something that some folks might wonder what it has to do with skepticism, but I think it's actually pretty relevant. We'll get into how relevant it might be later. So you came on the show to come out.
Yes, that's exactly true. And I'm doing that now officially, and I think today is coming out day for me.
Right, so coming out, not as a skeptic, but as a gay man. You're 81 years old. It's kind of late in the game, right, to come out?
Yeah, I've been gay all my life that I can remember since I was just a little kid. But it is about time. And I must tell you, DJ, the basic reason for it is, and to come out on Swift as I've done and on this very program right now, is because to not do it would be dishonest by omission. And I don't quite like that terminology either, but it's about time that I did this, and there's no good reason for my not having done it up until now, and I'm somewhat relieved that I've done it.
So we're talking about coming out, but in a real sense, you've been out for a long time to your close friends. I remember last November when we were talking about you first coming out, you told me you wanted to. I wondered, was it really all that necessary? Because your loved ones, the folks at the JREF, your close colleagues and friends in skepticism and magic, they all know that you're gay. And a lot of gay folks consider it really a private matter not worth talking about. You think it is worth talking about?
Well, it's only worth talking about it, DJ, because, again, by not coming out, that would be dishonesty by omission. And I owe it to all my friends out there to make a clean breast of it. I'm not the least bit ashamed or embarrassed by the thing, of course, as I'm sure you well understand, and most of our listeners, I'm sure, will understand as well. It's always been known, as you just said, to all my friends, certainly my family and such, and anyone who really knows me. They've known it implicitly, if not directly. And all have accepted it. I've never had any problem with it so far.
So based on that rationale, you're 81 years old. Why haven't you done it a lot sooner? It's not all that controversial anymore, as you just posited. It hasn't been, for quite a while. I came out as a gay guy when I was 14 years old or whatever. I never experienced any real problems from being out about my sexual orientation, call it that. And I'm sure if you came out in the 70s or 80s, it'd be a little different than coming out in the 90s or the 2000s, but the question is, why not sooner?
Oh, I didn't have any reason to, particularly. I toyed with the idea and then thought, well, why? It's not all that important. Nobody really cares anyway when you come right down to it. And, of course, I'm sure there's going to be certain repercussions, but we can get into that if you wish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to talk about maybe what your critics might do with the news. But before we get into that, I want to ask a couple personal questions about you as an 81-year-old gay man.
Sure.
I think people might be interested. Well, you said early on in our conversation that you knew from childhood that you were gay. Did you try to live as a straight man at any point in your life, or did you realize you were gay from early on and always accepted yourself as a gay man?
I, as a teenager, remember a different day and age altogether that most people today wouldn't recognize unless they're my age, that it was just something you didn't do. You never mentioned it. You never let on about it. You just had to conceal the fact or just let it lie there and let people guess if they wanted to. I never made an issue of it. I couldn't afford to, because the social setup was at that time, at that day and age, as I say, the social setup and the attitude that people had towards it would be very strong. It would have hurt my family, I'm sure, very much, although my family, I'm sure, was always sort of aware of it, but they just never mentioned it. It was the idiot in the family that you don't talk about.
The black sheep or whatever.
The black sheep, whatever, yes.
Yeah, and every family has gay folks in it. I remember as a little kid, I had an uncle who was gay, and, he'd always bring his friend to Thanksgiving. It wasn't really talked about, but people got what that meant. So your family probably guessed at it, but nonetheless, you were in the closet. Did you try not to be gay at any point, or you just were secretly gay?
No, I never made any attempt not to be gay. It's my basic nature, and you would understand that, of course, DJ. And any gay person would understand that. It's just part of my basic nature, and I make no apologies for it. I didn't then, and I don't now.
Did you ever get involved with the gay rights movement? I know that during the period of Stonewall in the early 70s, you lived in New York City. I'm not sure if you were in New York during the Stonewall riots.
Oh, yes, I was, and I was only a couple of blocks away. I lived in Greenwich Village, so I saw that whole thing unfold.
Wow. But were you part of it, or were you kind of on the outskirts of the gay community?
No, I didn't have much interest in being part of it, frankly. And it wasn't that I was afraid or reluctant or anything. I just had very little interest in it. I knew what went on in my head, and I was satisfied with that, and I lived with it one way or the other.
Well, and to put this in context, you were a successful professional magician at the time. You weren't a gay rights activist. There wasn't much time or room in your life to have both of those things going on at the same time.
Very, very true. And not only that, during that time, I also, for a couple of years, did a radio program, a major radio program out of New York.
Is it accurate to say you were the successor of Long John Neville, that great, that great broadcaster?
Yes, I took over his program after he left and went to another station. I was immediately invited to replace him the very next night, and I did so with quite some success until I ran into the Archbishop